2NURFM's Health and Wellbeing. For our sponsor, Mullen Natural Health Centre, Hamilton.
And Peter Mullen joins us again for a Tuesday afternoon. Good afternoon to you. How are you?
Very well, thank you, Colin.
That's the way, mate.
I was only touching my knob over here. I wasn't anywhere near his controllers, was I, Riley?
Well, I don't know what happened. That's okay.
It was my volume switch on my things.
Well, I'm not sure what happened there. Today we'll talk about the causes of weight gain, but we also want to talk about what we saw last night on TV with the vitamin supplements. Tell me more about this.
Yeah, look, it was a program last night. Quite a few patients or people would have seen it, and basically their cry was that vitamin supplements don't work. Their bottom line was vitamin supplements don't work. There's no evidence that they work, and that basically people are making expensive urine. And it, while there is some backing to, there's definitely, I would agree that there's a lack of research in regard a lot of natural therapies products. And one of the reasons behind this is that no one's willing to put money into something that already exists, that they can't patent and then make it into a pharmaceutical drug. So a lot of things that, we know are safe to take, no one's going to actually go in there and say, and it also does this, this and this. Where the program was really quite biased, though, is that there is a massive amount of growing research about the efficacy of natural therapies. There's a researcher I know of in Adelaide that has written paper after paper on the benefits of taking magnesium, for brain injury, for a whole host of health conditions. Zinc is very well researched. All the B vitamins have got sort of research behind them. So there's a lot. There's what they're saying about there being no research or evidence is just not true. So they were sort of making a bit of a blanket statement that, we shouldn't take these supplements. Everyone's spending all this money. The reality is I've been in this field for 25 years, and vitamin and mineral supplementation, herbal medicine are all parts of my tools of trade. And I've seen people make remarkable health recoveries. Supplements are only one part of our toolkit. The dietary, the lifestyle, the mental, emotional health, the spiritual aspects, they all play a massive role in someone's recovery. But, without the vitamins and supplements and herbs, we'd be really hampered or hindered to actually get the results that we do. So Australia has one of the most stringent regulatory frameworks for complementary medicine in the world. And they didn't really make that clear last night. The TGA does have so many complaints every year, but it's often about compliance. Like, we're not allowed to say stuff on any of the supplements. And just before we go there, sorry, this is a bit of a pet passion of mine. What I do as a naturopath is we use practitioner-only supplements. So these supplements aren't available over the counter. They can only be prescribed by a naturopath because we're using therapeutic dosages, and you do have to be conscious when you're taking stuff that it is exactly what you do need. It is a little bit unregulated at the moment in that people can go into Coles or Woolworths or these discount pharmacies and just buy whatever they think or what a sales assistant sells them, and I don't think that necessarily is going to get them the outcome or the benefits with their health long term.
And it kind of puts a bad name then on supplements, doesn't it?
It does. And that's the difference between over-the-counter stuff and prescription, which can't be sold ideally without a consultation with a qualified naturopath. So there's that differentiation. But the TGA is a major regulatory, governing body. So consumers really can have confidence in the quality and safety of Australian complementary medicines. And quite literally, if you're taking natural supplements and you want to know about the research behind it, do some research yourself. If someone's taking anything out there and they want to know whether there is any efficacy to it, I'm more than happy if they contact me at Mullen Health, ask me a couple of questions, and I'll get some backing or research for them. So
the best thing to do is simply to contact Mullen Health and really talk about, is the right supplement for me?
Absolutely, and we actually will have a bit of a service that we offer, which is a free consult, free 15-minute chat with any one of our naturopaths. So if somebody out there is taking supplements and they want to know if there is efficacy or research behind what they're taking, and then they're more than welcome to contact the office, and we can actually put you in touch with one of our naturopaths, and they'll go right through everything that they're doing and make some recommendations from there.
Pete, just quickly back onto the vitamins and supplements. You wanted to make another comment just quickly about that.
Yeah, look, this is a really important point, and this is why I think natural supplements, natural medicines do get a bad rap. Say, for instance, you're suffering from symptoms of low libido or, trouble in that department. So one of the products that, everybody talks about a bit is what's called horny goatweed, just to use as an example. Now, I mentioned it last night on the show. It's kind of funny. So the challenge with going into a health food store or a chemist and saying, look, I've got low libido, what have you got? And then they say, well, look, have you tried this horny goatweed? The difference between that scenario and going to see a naturopath is that naturopaths really specialise in helping you work out what's the cause of your issues, what's the cause of your low libido. So you could be pre-diabetes or diabetic, you could be on antidepressant medication, you could have untreated high blood pressure. So taking a product like horny goatweed is not going to do 1 ounce of good for you. So you buy it, take it, it doesn't work, and you go away thinking, well, natural medicines don't work. But the reality is you haven't actually found the cause of what your health concern is. So that's why I recommend people seek qualified advice first.
Okay.
Talking about that.
Beautiful. So the causes of weight gain, it's one of those things, and there's a million diets every year at about December 31. I always say, my New Year's resolution is I'm going to lose weight.
Yes.
And, everyone says, it's all about the calories, it's all about the exercise. Tell me more.
Well, over the years, it has been about the calories. It has been about, reducing fat in the diet. A lot of the current dietary information sort of came out of that period when they discovered, arteries full of fats, blocked up full of fats and cholesterol, and decided that animal fat and cholesterol was bad, and that, fat was the cause of all our weight gain. So the food pyramid at that time had as the base of the food pyramid chockers, like I think 7 or 8 serves a day of cereals and grains. Now, I always say that if we want to fatten cattle, that's what we give them. We stuff them full of cereals and grains. So the latest research out is that saying that it's all about the carbohydrate consumption, that maybe we were a bit carried away in doing all these low-fat products, that going low-fat hasn't made an impact on obesity and diabetes. In fact, these conditions are, growing epidemics. So weight gain is one of those interesting areas that 25 years ago when I first started in practice, weight loss was a lot easier to treat because people just had to cut down on what they were taking and exercise more. These days, there's a lot of people out there having trouble with losing body fat. Maybe they've dieted a lot over their time, but there's 4 other areas that can really contribute to why people are having trouble losing weight. Now, number 1, I've talked about a lot, and basically it's our excess carbohydrate consumption. Now, low-carb diets work. The paleo diet is a low-carb diet. The CSIRO, Total Wellbeing diet, is basically low carb. The anti-candida diet, the ketogenic diet, which is the diet that we recommend. They're all low carb diets. And when you cut back on carbs, like your body will always... So carbohydrates are your breads, cereals and grains, pasta, rice, potato. It's also your biscuits, cakes, lollies, sugar, processed foods. It's also your vegetables, salad and fruit. So lettuce is a carbohydrate, interestingly. But obviously, if you eat a heap of lettuce, you're only going to get a very small amount of glucose in your bloodstream. Whereas if you eat a potato, you're going to get a lot of sugar.
With just quickly on that, is it okay in portions? I mean, is pasta okay in small portions? Because I'm a lover of pasta. We're talking about, losing weight.
Yes.
And I think everyone loves a bit of pasta. Do you eat pasta?
Well, there's 2 stages.
Here we go.
There's two stages to a healthy body composition.
Yeah.
Stage 1 is fat loss. So to get into fat loss, you really do need to not have pasta.
Okay.
For a period of time until you're confident that you can incorporate a little bit and still be in what's called ketosis or stool and fat burning.
Yep.
A lot of patients say to me, it doesn't matter what I eat. I eat really healthy and I can't lose weight. And I say, well, eating really healthy doesn't mean that you're going to get into fat burning, because you may have the odd bit of pasta or the odd bit of bread or the odd carbohydrate. Because as soon as you have carbohydrate that releases glucose or blood sugar into your blood, your body will burn that for fuel first before it will even look at your fat stores.
Right. Okay. That's interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's interesting.
For the body to actually get into fat burning and burn someone's fat stores, it has to have a lack of fuel from somewhere else, basically.
Okay, that's interesting. Anything else?
Anything else you'd like me to reduce or remove from your diet?
No, that's okay.
So, sorry. So, and this is where the information came out about the glycemic index.
Yeah, okay.
And the ideal carbs for us humans are, veggies, maximum even 2 to 3 pieces of fruit. And if someone's really struggling to lose weight, we'll often even say no fruit for the first couple of weeks. Because for some people, and this is where the excess carbohydrate sort of flows a bit into insulin resistance. I always say that fat loss or difficulty losing weight is all about the hormones. And people say, well, I'm a bloke. What's hormones got to do with why I can't lose weight? But the hormones I'm talking about are insulin, thyroid hormone, and cortisol hormone. So insulin, one of the major reasons why we're seeing a lot more people with fatty liver, weight gain around the tummy, and difficulty losing weight is that they're swinging into what's called insulin resistance, where the insulin's the receptors on the cells are no longer sensitive to the insulin. Now, insulin's produced by the pancreas to take the glucose out of the blood, put it into your muscle cells to burn it for fuel. If that system's been flogged because we've eaten too many carbohydrates or too much glucose over a period of time, what we'll find is the cells lose their sensitivity, and then you've got elevated of insulin in your blood. So if you've elevated insulin, it tends to promote any glucose not burnt for fuel straight into fat.
It's very interesting how that all works, isn't it?
Yeah, and cortisol is the other hormone we talk about in regards to stress. If someone's saying, this is a classic example, people say, I don't have breakfast, I don't have lunch, I just have one big meal of a night time. The problem with that is if you don't have breakfast and lunch, you're going to be your body's going to produce excess cortisol, so that's our long-term stress hormone, so you'll have higher levels of cortisol because you're not supplying the fuel. And then you have dinner and you'll get an excess of insulin. Insulin and cortisol just convert straight to, any excess fuel gets converted straight to fat.
Yes.
So people say, well, I don't eat and I can't lose weight. And that's why, because the elevated cortisol is stopping them and the insulin is stopping them from getting into fat burning.
Pete, we can't eat these foods of, pasta, bread, potato. What can we eat?
Well, that is the $64,000 question. And what I always say to patients, like when you're starting to make dietary change, because for some people, doing a strict dietary program and following a meal plan can be impossible. So what I always say to people is, let's think about what you do have for starters. So most of us have 2 to 3 breakfasts, 3 to 4 lunches, 7 to 10 main meals that we just rotate. So the trick firstly is to think about what would you normally have for breakfast in the morning?
I usually have cereal, which wouldn't be great cereal, cranberries and something else.
Yes.
Here at work every morning. A bowl of that with low-fat milk. Lunch usually depends. Sometimes I have something from the cafeteria, so either, a Subway or something like that. And dinner, well, it can vary, see? Maybe it can be a steak, vegetables and a gravy. It could be a spaghetti bolognese. So I don't eat a great deal of variety of food. It remains the same quite a lot.
Yep. And see how, like, with what you're eating, like, there'll be a lot of sugar in your breakfast cereal.
Correct.
And milk's kind of half protein, half lactose, half sugar anyway. So the ideal breakfast for you would be possibly 2 poached eggs. Do you like eggs?
Yeah, I love eggs.
Yep. Instead of bread, would you have wilted spinach?
See, yeah.
Not big on that?
Yeah, no.
Well, maybe for starters, you could do your 2 poached eggs with a slice of gluten-free or sourdough rye bread, but just one slice of bread.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Now, that's not ideal, but that would be a start for you. If you have that one slice of bread at breakfast, you really can't have your wrap at lunchtime. So lunch then really needs, would you eat a salad with chicken or salmon?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
To me, it's all about the convenience part.
Yeah.
We were talking before about the convenience food.
Absolutely.
If it can take me 5 minutes to cook it, perfect. But if it takes half an hour to cook, different story.
Well, basically, the basic premise is to get into fat burning. You want to have meat and vegetables, fish and vegetables, chicken and vegetables, pretty much for 3 medium-sized meals a day, with 2 protein snacks in between. So breakfast, if you have your eggs, I'll allow you as a special treat to have 1 slice of yeast-free rye bread with real butter.
Yep.
But your 2 poached eggs on that, and maybe quarter of an avocado if you like avocado.
Yeah, I love avocado.
Lunch though, you can't have any carbs. You can't have your wrap or pasta. You'd want to have some salmon and a nice salad, or chicken and a nice salad. You might be able to buy a salad tub that's got the chicken already in it. So again, another quarter of an avocado, a little bit of salt and pepper, maybe a bit of olive oil for a dressing. Would you eat something like that?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yep. And then dinner at night time, you really need to just stick with, for starters, until we get you into fat burning, fish and veggies, chicken and veggies, meat and veggies. You can have a baked dinner, but you just have a heap of steamed greens with that, and maybe baked pumpkin and sweet potato, not white potato.
Here's a question for you without notice. Steamed vegetables from the supermarket or fresh?
Ideally fresh.
Ideally fresh, yeah, I thought so. Moving along to chronic inflammation.
So hormonal imbalance, so insulin, cortisol, long-term stress hormone, thyroid. We've talked before on this show about thyroid, and underactive thyroid is a subclinical epidemic. Like a lot of people are headed down that path and may not even know it. After the hormonal, so the first one was excess carbs, then the hormonal imbalances that occur due to stress and excess carbs. Chronic inflammation is, again, one of the other reasons why someone can have trouble getting into fat burning. Normal inflammation is part of our body's healthy immune response, designed to trigger healing for injuries. However, if the inflammatory response does not turn off, it can cause all sorts of problems. So causes of chronic inflammation can include toxins, processed foods. We find if someone's got food intolerances to certain foods and they're eating those foods regularly, that can make it difficult for them to actually get into fat burning. Dysbiosis and what we call leaky gut. So, we were talking about that the balance or the quality of our bacteria may actually play a role in us craving certain foods. So if someone's got, major gut imbalance from a heap of antibiotics, alcohol, processed foods, stress, that can really determine, can stuff up that whole food craving cycle. If someone's under liver stress, if someone's got a bit of a fatty liver, it can be harder to get into fat burning. A big thing that people don't really realise this, but for women particularly above 35% body fat and men above 25% body fat, those fat cells aren't just storage sites. They're actually liberating or releasing free fatty acids, inflammatory chemicals back into your bloodstream. So this is why a lot of people that are above those percentages will get brain fog and feel fatigued and feel unmotivated as well. So we've kind of got to burn all that fat up for them to start to feel better. So excess body fat can be quite toxic and inflammatory provoking. So any one of those, and then you've got things like the plasticizers from our plastic water bottles. Like there's a lot of things that can interfere. Trans fats can interfere with us getting into fat burning and causing pre-diabetes or pushing us towards that. So, inflammation's a big thing. Yeah.
Now, if you are ready to get your weight gain under control, there's a great way to do it tonight. This is a perfect Valentine's Day present, fellas, and it's free.
So you can think it was a date if you're taking your partner, but I'd let them know before you turn up, though, that it is a weight loss talk, just in case they take offence.
Yeah. Well, I won't go there. Now, where's this happening? And it's happening at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, 7 o'clock at the Charlestown Multi-Purpose Centre. But if anyone's keen to go, and just joking about that, but if you or your partner are having trouble shifting weight, last talk we did a couple of weeks back, we had a lot of couples there because it's a full family event, and the old model of weight loss that's all about, you just need to eat better and exercise more. We know it's not true. And so it's a really great night for really getting your head around, what some of your causes might actually be.
Yeah.
So come along and bring your partner or support person with you as well.
Okay.
And people, if they get onto our website, they'll be able to see where the event's on at, the details, and be able to get their tickets. And there's still a few tickets left. All
right, so Charlestown Multipurpose Centre kicks off at around about 7 o'clock. It's a weight loss talk tonight, and get your weight under control. Next week, what are we going to talk about?
Next week, our next talk after the weight loss talk is kids' health.
Yeah, okay.
With kids' health getting out of control. So the next couple of talks, I think, will be about the preamble up until those kids' health talks. So I think we're talking about food intolerances, whole heap of things to do with kids and kids' health.
All details, though, on the weight loss tonight at Charlestown Multipurpose Centre. Kicks off at 7 o'clock, and it'll be a great night if you want to get your weight under control. Thank you very much, Mr. Peter Mullen. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Colin. Have a great week.
Not a problem. You too.